all of a sudden this story about Charlie's Angels resurfaces.
It does. It was so weird. It just popped up
and asks about you. So I'm one of those people that I can't sweep anything under the carpet.
I can't either.
Good. Let's do it.
Let's talk.
So apparently, the story is that when you came in to meet with us on Charlie's Angels, we were doing chemistry reads with lots of people.
Yeah.
And I just called my partner, Nan. We've been in flower films together for 30 years.
I actually remember her.
She loves you.
I know, because, well, I don't know that, but I remember feeling the love.
And I was like, this is so bizarre. So apparently, a producer called your agent and said something to the effect of, eyebrows and
it was the oddest.
Age? What was it? Tell us what happened.
Just so here's what happened. I go and I audition. First of all, I was so excited to meet you.
We were so excited to meet you too.
And it
we
went really
loved you.
And it went really well. And I'll tell you what I think the real reason is, but I'll first set the story up for you. So I go in, I audition, then you go home and you wait and you hope to get the response, which is you're gonna get the job. I didn't get the job. It's okay. It happens. But the feedback was, my eyebrows were too sophisticated and I looked too old next to Drew. And that was the feedback, and I was like, what? It just was an odd way of saying you didn't get the job. And so now that I'm older and wiser, and we've been in this business for a long time, I think what was happening during that time is there were all these conversations about diversity, but people weren't really pulling the trigger. I don't think this has anything to do with you or your partner or your film company. I think this is just a result of the fear of really putting a Black woman into a film that never cast anyone Black. It was a first time for them. There was this initiative to cast more Black women, have more Black women on set, but Hollywood wasn't quite doing it, because I remember during that time, I actually auditioned for so many roles that weren't written Black, to the point where I was exhausted. It was almost like, bring the Black girls in, bring the Black actors in so we can say that we did it, but we're not gonna necessarily pull the trigger. So what I will say now is things have changed a little. I thank God for producers like you, because I know you're aware and you're sensitive to it because you're having the conversation.
Absolutely, and it was always
Yeah, thank you.
Well, Nan and I really cared about, we almost felt nervous and bad, if you will, when it was me and Cameron. We were like, oh God, that doesn't feel right for us.
But it was so good.
And the original Charlie's Angels were all, you know, white women.
But they look different.
They, you know, hair color-wise maybe, but not really. I mean, there was no diversity there.
No.
Let's call that out.
Let's just say.
And we felt the exact opposite. And this was in 1999 when those conversations were not being had. And it was really her and I who championed the fact that, like, okay, we love our angels so far, but now what?
Yeah.
And when we even went in to present ourselves as producers for the film, all of our pitches for the combination of the trio all had diversity in it. And that was just something that felt right in our guts at the time. And it's bewildering to me that someone would say those things.
It just doesn't make any sense.
Nan and I would never talk about eyebrows.
I don't think it came from me. I'm sure
that's not what women would do.
No, women don't talk about things like that. And I'm 101% positive that it came from a studio exec that has no concept and understanding of the importance of diversity, let alone what you stand for. Because you've been in this game, Drew, for a very long time. And I know your heart, and I see your show, and I know who you are. So this was never anything that I took personal at all. But I'm glad we're having the conversation, because Black women and white women, women, period, we need to talk. We need to stay in communication, because at the end of the day, it's hard for all women in this industry. I don't care who you are. It's harder for us. There's less roles, there's less diversity. But if we don't talk to each other, then we can next have a show and create something with each other.
Absolutely.
Like, we have to keep the dialogue going. And so I appreciate you being brave enough with me to have this conversation.
Of course. I mean, I was mortified when I heard, because Nan and I would never speak like that. And as far as age, that's the stupidest thing because you're actually the same exact number and age as Lucy Liu. So how is that possible? And I grew up in an industry where I was like, I will not fall prey to aging and all that BS. Like, that will never be my thing. I watched too many people suckle off the fountain of youth and think they were less worthy if they looked older. So age and weight and body, I was like, this is a toxic part of this industry.
Oh my God.
There are many wonderful things about it, but this part I will not play with and I will not succumb to. So there's no way the age thing was an issue.
Yeah.